Hello, we're back with a new lesson, a well-requested lesson, and today we're going to talk about how to make sample kicks more unique. You know, everyone has samples, but the problem is when I hear certain demos, and especially if a label hears demos, you don't want to make them be like, oh yeah, I've heard this before. Oh yeah, straight out of OPS sample packs, or I've heard this before with this artist, or this is ripped, or whatever. You want to be original, right? So how can we change it up? How can we change up the samples that we're using? Let it be OPS, but of course we're gonna, work with our own sample pack, our community Neroz production sample pack. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see how we can tweak it to make it more unique, our own. Yeah. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. We're just gonna dive into it and we'll see from there. Let's go. Okay, FL Studio. All right, so we have the starter pack, and obviously we're gonna talk about kicks here. So we have the general kicks. Some good ones. I like the Charmendo kicks, very professional. Also like the ND4 kicks, but they're more gated and zag. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. So let's see what we can do. We can just blend it in. Okay, so I'm looking for a punch that I want to tweak. Or we could say like, hey, okay, which kick is cool? I like them all. Alright, let's work with this one. Let's just name it the punch. Right, so what I usually do, Control L, put it on a new FX channel, EQ that shit. Oh, yep. Let's check the frequencies. All right, so I load up the punch, I put it on a channel, and we have it on channel 1 and 2. Channel 2 is going to the master, channel 1 is going to the master. So on channel 2, you want to rename it to reverb. This is some bass, reverb, whatever, reverb, doesn't really matter. You want to make sure that, at least with reverb 2, you have the option to put the dry off and do only the wet, which is really convenient because now it doesn't duplicate the sound from channel 1. It doesn't duplicate to 2, so now you have only the wet. That's great. Okay, removing the low end for the reverb. This is just basic processing for connecting the reverb, the punch to the till later on. Right. Do whatever you want. I usually put a limiter in between too to push it a little bit. If you've seen the other classes, you know why. Okay, so there's that. Then I use the P controller side chaining this, so every time the kick hits, the P controller registers the hit, and every time the P controller registers the hit, it will tell the reverb to duck. That's basically what it does. Putting the P controller on the sound that you want the reverb on. This controls the faders, so this will control this eventually, but to do that you have to right click it, link to controller, make sure to link it to the peak. Right, so now when you play it, you see it moving. These are the settings right now, so you see it going up. That's because the volume is going up. What I wanted to do is go down and then tweak the settings. This is how fast the signal comes back. All right, I want it a little bit more open. Put it on 160 BPM and see where we're at. All right, so this is the whole kick still. So let's go to the volume here, adjust it for only the punch. You can do it with the shaper box if you will. It's more visual than this. I like it like this too. All right, so now we have the punch. Let's add another tail from ND4. Right, sounds good. So now I'm going to do the opposite. I want the punch to fade. I don't need the punch. I'm going to put this on a new channel, 5. Right, so now we're listening to the... So what you're hearing is that it's overlapping. FL Studio doesn't know by default how long the sample is. So you want to do that here, polyphony on 1. difference. Very important. Okay. All right, so there's that. Let's see how it sounds with the punch. Let's put this on. Okay, it's on 5. Why is it on 5, not 4? Put it on 3. That's so weird. All right, so this is going to be the tail. All right, so now the kick sounds like this. Okay, cool. It's out of balance. You can see that the punch is too loud. The tail is not loud enough. Okay, just for the sake of time, we're gonna just put an inflator on this and call it a day. We're not gonna talk too much about. All right, now it blends in together a little bit better. I think we can use a better tail than this one. Let's middle mouse button click. That's already better. Sure. So what I'm hearing is that there's some sort of punch in this. Yeah, so the punch is out of the key with our current punch. So you want to level that just by listening to it. So people pitch here or here, whatever. I like to do it here. I right click here and then it's automatically pitched. Very fast. I think this is the same key as the MD4. All right, so now you have. Okay, that sounds cool. But now I want that, you know, a little bit more unique touch to it. All right, well, there's a lot of ways you can do it. You can just literally distortion rape that stuff. That's why I used to like to call it. So what you do, find the frequency. All right, this is the frequency. See the peak over here, 800 hertz. All right, boost it. All right, make sure the peak controller is on top. The way you do that is by scrolling the mouse. You can adjust the order of the plugins, if you didn't know that. Okay, fast distortion. I would say, what's this, the low cut? Okay, so here before the distortion, now it sounds like this. Well, that's way too loud. Well, that's okay. A little bit more distortion. Sure. Putting the volume down. And then when I put the volume down, the distortion also goes down. So how can we fix that? That is a good... Oh, that's why you should always name your EQ. EQ boost was after the distortion. So now it's fixed. All right, that sounds really cool already. Very cool. Maybe we're losing a little bit of the transient, the first part, because we distorted it. So the way easy fix is just to clone the original punch we had. Make sure to put it down the same pitch. So in this case, it's 1, 2. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones in total. But I just right click that stuff on the same key. Oh, that's already done when you clone it. Okay, how convenient. And then use only the transient, so only the beginning, but put it on a new channel because you don't want that distortion or anything. And now what you want to do for the transient is get rid of all the low end. Just use the high end. You have to listen a little bit. Something like this maybe. Okay, let's listen to it. And what you want to do is maybe, you can leave it here or you can open it up. Let's listen to it, how it sounds with. Okay, let's see what it does if I get a little bit of room. Maybe a little longer. I barely hear it, so that means I have to turn it up. So there's a little bit transient in the middle section, the 400 hertz, that's what I'm hearing. So let's leave it like that. I cannot tell by headphones if it's now better or not, but just to make sure, because you're using distortion on a punch, it will mess up the transient part usually. So just use a transient part. That can be the first part of a, but you can also use another sample if you like. I don't know. Maybe this one clicks better. Boom, better transient. Cool. All right. Okay, cool. This tail is cool, but I like it a little bit more crunchy. So let's dive a little bit deeper. Let's split the tail into 2 channels. So the tail is here. I'm going to move it a little bit to the right, Alt right click, and I'm going to separate it. All right. Now we have the tail here and we have the tail here. So what I will do is I will clone this and I'm going to call this crunch sound, and this will remain the low end. All right. No, I'm not going to make it too complicated. I'm just going to put the crunch sound back to what it was. Oh, I didn't change anything yet. Okay. I'm going to give the low end a new channel FX. Okay, low end. Getting rid of all the frequencies. Let's say something. We'll have to listen to that. For now, we'll keep it 200. So it sounds like this. When you play it, Steven, you have to play it. That's only the low end. Okay, cool. So now you can do with the crunch whatever you want, right? You can change it, stretch it, doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the low end. The moment you're gonna like put a wave shape or a distortion on your low end, you'll lose it. That's why you want to split it. You want to split the tail. So now you can have the crunch and the low end without affecting it the low end. But make sure that in the tail you remove the low end, because you don't want to stack 2 low ends up top of each other, obviously. Okay, 90 hertz it is. Okay, so then this would be the limit. It should be like a crossover thing. Something like this is good. Okay, cool. And now if you want more low end, you can even boost it up without affecting the tail. That's pretty sick. All right, so now let's fuck up that tail. I did put a EQ low end removal, but I'll put that later because I'm going to add distortion to it. And distortion also adds low end. So let's do a EQ. No, let's do, I want more crunch. How do we get more crunch? There's a lot of ways to get more crunch. Distortion is the easiest way, and I usually keep it very basic. You can use Distortion or any fancy plugin you like, doesn't really matter. Bloody Overdrive, Wave Shaper does the job. Let's get a Wave Shaper in. Wave Shaper is good stuff. Where is it? You can browse presets. Not everyone knows that. Because I have the low end removal here, whatever I do with the Wave Shaper, it doesn't affect it. If I remove this, it's gonna sound messy. Because it's too low end on top of each other, plus the Wave Shaper. So you can change the Wave Shaper to get that crunch you like. It's pretty cool, no? I hear some sort of zooming. Is that in the tail? I don't know where I hear it. I'm gonna duck the reverb a little bit. So that's pretty cool. So now we made a very unique kick with the help of a few samples. All right, let's try some other ways. Okay, let's replace this punch with something completely different. It's easier. It's so easy if you have like a nice crunch, just replace the punch. New kick. New kick. for example. All right, so what happens if we, let's say, take something completely like not kicks? I don't know. Honestly, you can make funny stuff from anything.
Face your doom.
Okay, I will do that, Sunny. Screeches. All right, let's make a kick out of a screech. Why not? Just load it in. Make sure you adjust the SMP start. Let's see. Listen to this. That's the beginning of the screech. Cool. I like it lower maybe. Or higher. Well, let's stretch it. Mono stretch. Sounds really weird, but who knows? Just tweak it a little bit, see what happens. Try to play with the SMP start. Maybe there's a part in the waveform that sounds better. Alright, how does it even sound as a kick? That's not too bad. It's a little bit too squished with the inflator. Honestly, that's not bad. So that... Alright, now you have a kick made of a screech. Let's go a little bit further. Another wave. Let's reverse it. I don't know, I don't give a shit. Trim. Cool, play with the pitch again. So this is how you can make kicks out of screeches. Honestly, anything goes. Usually what's really fun...
Can you feel my baseline?
Nice. Okay, let's get this glitch on. I don't know how this is gonna sound. Sure. Play around with the stretch modes. Try to change the pre-EQ boost. That's so easy, man. Alright, you know what's funny? Animals, I think I did it in a screech lesson once, but let's see. Animals, elephant. Remove the reverse. Some of them sound really bad. Yeah, that's bad. Let's move that EQ boost. Oh. See, you can when you stretch everything, you put a distortion on it with an EQ boost, you can honestly make a kick punch out of anything. Can we do a little bit more with this? Okay, you get the point. You know, there's so many ways. I think the easiest way is just to play around with the stretch, the EQ boost, and the distortion. Obviously, when you want to make color kicks, you can do a chroma plugin. But honestly, stretching and using different sounds, I didn't even use kick sounds. I used animal sounds, and look how the kicks turn out. You can make sick ass kicks with animal sound. So no one cares about the crunch, okay? So use any crunch, no one gives a shit. Just make sure that you layer it. Like OPS crunches, I can hear. So make sure to layer it a little bit. What is more important if you want to establish yourself as a unique artist is the punch sound in, yeah. So there's that. I think that's a interesting way and a very easy way if you understand what you're doing to make kick samples more unique. And yeah. Good luck, and let's move on to the next lesson.